What's up? My name is Rod. I don't normally do anything like this, but I've been looking for an apartment for 6 months, and something about looking for a place slow gives you more insight into what's happening, and I feel like I gotta share. So let's start with history of this area politically. You know, I live in a building that is very shittily run, even though it looks like a very nice building. People take pictures of it. It's because in this area, which was formerly run by Jose Quasar, who's a man in jail for corruption, was replaced by a man named Kevin De Leon, who was so racist Joe Biden asked him to resign. These people, what they got in trouble for, what I'm sure De Leon will eventually, is backroom deals for adaptive reuse. So adaptive reuse is the type of building I live in. It's when you see an old office building, warehouse, factory turned into apartments. LA put this in the 80s. It's been around ever since. These buildings are very lucrative, so people buy them, like billionaires buy them, and that's where the problem starts. So that became really lucrative, and people needed more. So keep in mind, the way this is sold is that there's a housing shortage at all times, so we got to build. So in my area, the Arts District next to downtown LA, they started building, and they built a lot. I can see the buildings outside. Two problems with these buildings. One, they suck. They don't look like any of the adaptive reuse buildings. They're new and they're shitty and they have no imagination. And second, with the market flooded, they set a floor price. I'm going to show you some of the listings here for the Arts District. You can see now there's one listing missing here, which is Ava. Ava's the biggest one. Ava's the one that just came in. It might have 200, 300, 400 units. I don't know. It's massive. It looks ugly. It's completely empty. Every day I get notifications for apartments in Ava. I wish they were still online. They took it off the market to try to change the market because this is what they do. When I say they, I mean corporate-controlled places, these brand new buildings. So I'll click on one here. It's the Amp Lofts as an example. Then you have the Santa Fe building. These buildings are massive. So I'll go with Santa Fe. Actually, I'll go to Aliso. Now, Aliso, the cheapest you can get in Aliso is $2,900, and you get 493 square feet. It's a luxury apartment. I can tell you right now what's luxury about Aliso is that it has a pool and a gym. Nothing else about it screams luxury. They have so many open units that a lot of them are unlocked. You can just go walk and give yourself a tour. Shitty craftsmanship. It's not even good. Would you want to, if you made $9,000 a month, which is what they're going to ask because you need 3 times rent, would you want to live in 493 square feet, 500 square feet? In a dystopian hellhole that's also not high quality? No. So how are they doing this? Oh, it's because they are using an algorithm that has determined what we pay for rent as people here and nothing else. And the shitty part is the algorithm is wrong because all of these units are empty. These are empty buildings. Empty. Well, then how come the price stays high? If I own an apartment building, if I own a condo, man, after 30 days, after 60 days, I would really be hurting if I haven't rented it out because I have mortgage. Interest rates are going up. Are up. Oh. Well, I started looking who owns Aliso, that super expensive, shitty building? Greystar Real Estate. What's that? I started looking up all the buildings. I don't know who any of these people are. Some of them could be one man, some of them could be multi-whatever corporations. Avalon Communities, Greystar, Scott Properties, Equity Residential, SRG Residential, Berkshire, Legacy Partners. I don't know who any of these people are. But then I looked at the buildings, and it's Ava. Well, if you live in California, you've probably seen an Ava. I don't know if it's nationwide. They own all the Avas? There's 6 in the area. Wait. They also own the Aliso. You're telling me that they own it? Now there's 4 or 5 companies here own 80% of all I can survey. Why the hell would they change the rents lower when they own everything? Well, I'm like, okay, so maybe they feel price pressure. What if, hey, if the building stays empty long enough, they're going to lose money, right? That's a big investment. Well, kind of, except for they own the land and the building, which is appreciating every goddamn day because fuck housing prices. And Greystar, which I looked them up, they have $5 billion in revenue annually. And I don't even know what this metric means. It's listed here. They have 14,000 employees with a revenue per employee ratio of 357,142. I don't even know what that means. It sounds shitty for us. It sounds horrible. Because if you have $5 billion worth of capital, losing, I don't know, let's call it $200,000 a month on just rent, when you're making like 10x that on the property value, why the fuck would they ever care? I was told, I don't know if this is true, that they're trying to bring the Olympic Village here, and that's part of reason all this. The Olympics are coming to LA in 2028. This is important. I think they're trying to keep the rates as inflated as long as possible until stuff like that starts rolling. Why I'm saying this is also because I know someone who got one of those $4,000 Alisos for $2,500. These are just regular leasing agents making commission deals. They don't know Mr. Gray or Mr. Star. Go in and be like, I'll give you $1,000, or this bitch can sit empty. I used to live at a building called 1010 Wilshire years ago. I went back to see, like, is it still a dope place? Like, it kind of isn't. It's like an Airbnb spot now. It's kind of weird, but that's as a result of not having tenants. They're offering 3 months free and $1,000 to move in. The corporations aren't really playing themselves. We are, by not going in and being like, I'll pay half, because that's the market rate. And part of what alerted me to this was Airbnb. I go on Airbnb, I can rent places cheaper on Airbnb than I can locally, because a lot of Airbnb is tied to the market value. So you're seeing places that used to be $6,000 going for $3,000. Places that used to be $4,500 going for $2,500. The apartments aren't doing that because they are not responding to the market. Who this is fucking the most are the few people who own the dope condos in the area, the ones that still have character. Now, they greatly benefited from this inflationary process, so I feel not quite as sad, but I have to say that going in to see some of these people whose mortgages or whatever, maybe this is their second place that they were Airbnb, and I don't know. Well, now that value has dropped precipitously because of all these things. So when I go in to look for an apartment and they say it's 3,800, 1,200 square feet, I'm like, my guy, I would love to let you know that that makes sense, but I'm also here to tell you that it doesn't. I can get an Airbnb in this same building for less with no credit check, nothing. So we got to start over. I don't know what happens next, but we got to start over. I just wanted to show y'all something. This is 1200 South Santa Fe. There are 2 units for rent. Those are the prices. It looks like all the square footages are relatively similar. I can get an Airbnb at that same place for a month for that price.